Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again, as always, on the weekend. I gotta say, I'm very, very glad to see we got new subscribers. Um, Thank you for those that are recently subscribed, and thank you for those who've been subscribed for a minute. Uh, it really means a lot to see you guys coming through every time and just hitting that button. But I have to always repeat the same thing, so I want to make sure that I keep pushing the message loud and clear to keep subscribing, keep hitting that subscribe button, keep hitting that notification bell so you can be notified when I go live. Uh, we got a good show today, and for you to know topics like this one or understand topics like this one, I should say, you got to be on this channel and you got to be tuned into this live stream. So, with with without having to say too much, um, I think we should start paying attention to the financial system. And I've been preaching about this for a couple of weeks now. The financial system is very important, and people are not paying attention to it. The main things people are paying attention to are Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and women on this platform. And I think that is a shame that they're doing it. Now, that's not everybody, but it's the majority of people. And I think we need to really, really focus and put our minds where they should be, and that is on the financial system because we like to travel, right? Let's just be honest about it. For those of us who like to travel, how are you going to travel if your money isn't worth anything? You won't be able to do any of these exotic things overseas. Most of us rely on the US dollar to survive. So, what happens if the US dollar collapses? What will you do then? So, as I always say, we need to be preemptive and not reactive. That's one of them things that you can always improve upon. And it's very, very important that we do that. So, we have to start learning about what's really going on, what they're really not talking about, what they're really hiding from us. And you start doing that by following the money. We learn about this in the movies. They always say, follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. So if we follow the money, we start to see and start to be able to understand the picture of what's really going on behind the scenes. Now, behind the scenes, the financial picture is a mess right now. The US dollar is losing its dominance, and we're about to lose the global trading currency status. The petrodollar agreement was not renewed in June, which gave us the global trading currency status. It was not renewed. So that was they're still negotiating it. Don't get it twisted. That's not saying it won't be redone, but Saudi Arabia right now is selling oil in multiple currencies. They're receiving payments in multiple currencies right now instead of in US dollars for the first time since the 70s. That's a problem because that agreement with Saudi Arabia is what gave us the dominance that we have today, and we are losing it. We're losing it. Let me see who we got in here. Mi esposo futuro, gracias, mi cielo. Quiet Storm, what's going on, pimping? He says, salute, Stefano. I have started my trip from South Africa. What? Is that where you at? I'll watch the replay and drop it. Thank you, sir. What's my VPN? Man, tell people that they need a VPN. They don't understand this, man. VPN is so important. And I really appreciate you, bro. You've been sponsor of multiple streams on my channel multiple times. And you don't know how much it means for me to see, the donation come through because it really, really helps me and it helps other content creators keep doing what we're doing here. Um, it gives us more purpose to keep going forward, right? But as I always say, anytime my boy comes through here, we got to give him a shout out, and we got to shout out him and his team, Machismo TV. All right. Make sure that you go check out Machismo TV. Machismo TV is the place late night for all men who are looking for somewhere to go to find the information that we need. It's a men centric channel that helps you with men centric topics. And if you need to get on the right path, I suggest you start there with Machismo TV. Start over there. Then you go over there and you learn these guys, you learn who they are, and follow each one of these guys individually because they will help you get yourself on the right path. Start with the contractor, start with Salty Balls, Machismo TV himself. You'll learn to start seeing the International Quiet Storm over there as a moderator. Subscribe to all of those guys, and you will start to see the topics being discussed and the individual topics on their channel. Tito, he's another one that's part of Machismo TV. Make sure you subscribe to him too. Go over there and check him out. Check out this clip while you're at it.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
And I do mean with nothing. And we're spreading this message globally. And you understand what I'm saying? We're doing it from here to Cape Town to Colombia. You heard the man. The man is in Cape Town right now, right? Yeah, I was in Cape Town last time I didn't know this. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. That's why the phone was jacked up. Well, blame it on your heart, not your equipment, right? uh, mm, okay. Hey, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Make sure that you are hitting the notification bell so you'll know when we go live. Make sure you go check out Machismo TV, like I just said, guys. Make sure you go sub them and Salty Balls, right? Also, make sure you think about this when I tell you that your critical thinking skills needs to be sharpened. And the best way for you to sharpen those is to go over there and check out Salty Balls. When you go over there and check out Salty Balls, just sit there and listen. Don't try to butt in automatically. I want you to go over there and pay attention. Sit there, listen to a couple of episodes of what he discusses and some of his subjects. And so therefore you can understand what's going on in the world. Because he taught me a thing or two. And I was like, oh, I didn't catch that. We were talking about doing a live together and we were talking about how we were going to do it, and I presented a podcast and Saul was like, let me check it out. And then he pointed out some keywords that let me know that this person was a feminist. And I was just like, God, yeah, you see, this is how you sharpen. Iron sharpens iron. So you can't always think that you're the smartest person of the bunch. It's always somebody else. Always somebody else. And you know it when you meet them. And this is why I'm telling you, go check these guys out. Go check out the channel itself, Machismo TV, and then check these guys out individually. Because once you hear Salty Balls, then you can go over there and check out the contractor and listen to the stories that the contractor tells you. They're deep and they're invigorated, and they're going to teach you a lot about what's going on just from a personal standpoint. Yes, please check out the contractor. He's got some very deep stories over there that he talks about. You know, you just need to listen. That's all you got to do. Sometimes all it does is it helps for you to listen. It really does. And the contractor is one of those guys you can listen to and just sit there and just put your earbuds in. And if you're running and you're jogging or you're out on the trail somewhere, you can listen to the contractor and he'll give you a whole lot of game and a lot of knowledge. So that's one of those type of guys you want to check out right there. Hold on, let me go back. I missed your comment. Yeah, that's the contractor right there. Yes, check out General Tito. Check him out over there too. All right. Tito's new to me, so I got to go over there and do my due diligence as well and check him out. All right. Ginky. Ginky. I put it in the chat. Spino, what's up, man? What's happening? Yeah, I put it in the chat. You just got to figure out which one is for you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's Ginky though. It's Ginky with an E. Ginky with an E. But I don't want to ramble too much on this right here, right? So check this out. We need to learn about what's going on with the financial system. Point period blank. The problem is we're too focused on being funny and laughing at people and not understanding what's going on with our money. We don't want to end up like a country, say like Venezuela, where money, you can just open the door and there's money on the ground because it ain't worth the paper it's printed on. And that's where we're headed. We're headed toward that. We're headed toward becoming a third world country if we do not get this inflation under control, right? We have to learn how to take control of our future, especially our financial future, right? I got this video that I created and I want to play it so uh, it can give you an insight on what'll happen if this dollar collapses. So bear with me.
Possibility of the US dollar collapsing if it continues to lose value. Will the US dollar collapse if it keeps losing value? It's a question on many people's minds. The US dollar is the most powerful and influential currency in the world, impacting global trade and finance. If the US dollar were to collapse, the consequences would be far-reaching and devastating. Inflation would skyrocket, making everyday goods and services unaffordable. The stock market would likely plummet, wiping out the savings of millions of investors. The collapse of the US dollar would also have significant geopolitical implications. Several factors contribute to the devaluation of the US dollar. One major factor is inflation, eroding the purchasing power of the dollar. The rise of alternative currencies, such as cryptocurrencies, is also contributing to the decline. The US government and the Federal Reserve will likely take steps to maintain stability. The US dollar's dominance is being challenged, moving towards a more multipolar currency system. While the US dollar is unlikely to collapse completely, its value will likely continue to decline over time. It's essential to be aware of these trends and take steps to mitigate the risks associated with a devalued currency. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts on the future of the US dollar in the comments below.
Yes, please comment below this video if you're watching this on the replay. What do you think will happen if the US dollar collapses? We need to know. This is something everyone needs to think about on a more serious level because I don't think people are taking it serious at all. I mean, a lot of people are going to go into panic. I'm going to show you something real quick. Now, this guy mentioned that crypto is becoming one of the reasons why the US dollar is basically losing its value, which is true because people are learning that um, we have other forms of currency out here, and we're trying to convert everything over right now. In 2025, all of the currencies are supposed to go digital, right? But you need to know what to grab in case. And I think I'm gonna take myself out of the screen so you all can see this on a little bit better. All right. So basically, this is a website called Fiat Leak. I'm gonna drop this in the comments right here. Right. That way you can go check it out on your own because I want you to do your own research, right? Give me 1 second. It's gonna put it in the comments. I'm gonna pin it to the top. All right. All right. Now I pinned it to the top of the chat. So if you want to go check it out, you can. So basically, what this is a website that shows you every country in the world that is purchasing cryptocurrency right now, right? So what I want to do is I want to come down here and I want to show you because they try to tell you that crypto is a scam. And right now you can see in the United States a bunch of crypto being bought. Where is it going though? All right. So let's find the most popular one right now, which is Bitcoin. All right. Give me a second. All right. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin has dropped all the way to 58,000. All right. So it has dropped all the way down to 58,000. So as you can see, everywhere on the global map where Bitcoin is being purchased right now at this moment. Okay. You can see the majority of the Bitcoin is being bought by the United States right now. Why is the majority of Bitcoin being bought by the United States? Ask yourself this. I mean, ask yourself this. Look at all of the Bitcoin that's being bought right now by the United States. And this is not just by people, right? Everyone doesn't have $58,000 to buy a coin, or everyone doesn't have a lot of money in the United States to invest in Bitcoin. So this is a ton of it. This is a ton of it being bought right now and sent directly to the United States. And you got some going to other countries, some of the Asian countries, some of it going to let's say Eastern Europe, right? But the majority is being bought by the United States, right? So now let's find another popular one, which is Ethereum. Here, Ethereum has dropped to 3,000 basically. But also, as you can see now who's buying the majority of the Ethereum in the world right now. And this is in real time. So this is one of the reasons why the dollar is losing its value because inflation and people investing in cryptocurrency. And again, you can see the majority of the Ethereum is being purchased by the United States. So it makes you wonder what is going on out here. Why is the United States buying so much crypto when they claim it's a scam? They claim it's a scam. How is it a scam when they're buying so much of it? Maybe they just don't want you to buy it. And sometimes people don't think of that. But I mean, as you can clearly see, they're buying a whole lot of it. And it don't seem to be slowing down no time soon. What else? Let me see if I can find another popular one. XRP, right? Let me find it for you. XLM, XRP. Boom. Here we go. XRP has dropped all the way down to 44 cents, 45 cents, give or take, right? But as we all see, it doesn't look like anybody's buying this right now. So they slowed the halt on XRP. Okay. So let's take a look at this right here. CoinGecko. Now, CoinGecko is an app that teaches you about cryptocurrencies. Right now, the crypto market, the cap is around $2.2 trillion, right? And here you have the top cryptos in the world right now. You have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, but they're about to do away with Tether from what I'm hearing. You got BNB, Solana, which has made some serious gains here in the last couple of months, the USD coin, and others. But XRP is sitting around number 8 right here, right? I suggest everybody pay attention to this. Go download this app. I'll drop this in the chat too, so you can check that out. I can only pin one at a time in the chat, so you guys need to make sure you're saving these links. All right. And please make sure you're following us on the Instagram page. All right. We drop shorts over there all the time. That way you can stay up to date on what's going on over there. All right. Thank you, La Caquina. Gracias, mi cielo. Yes, but this right here teaches you about the top cryptos in the world. And if you would like to learn about one, simply click on it. And you can go through here and you can learn. It tells you the market cap of the crypto and everything. But you should ask yourself, why is this even going on right now? Well, it's because all of the money is about to switch to digital, and they're not telling us about it. They just want you to be complicit. All of your banks are doing it without you knowing it. It's just you're gonna wake up one day and boom, you're gonna have a wallet, and it's gonna be wild. I'm play this video right now. Let me share my screen again. And I'm gonna play this video that's gonna show us basically these guys talking about what's going on with the money out here, right? And what'll happen if it loses its value. All right, boom.
The US dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency. What's next? Like we're seeing what happened with BRIC or BRICS, to not to preclude South Africa from that. What would happen with that?
Don't open that can of worms, because we've been talking about this de-dollarization theory on our channel for months now. And it is true that the world is becoming de-dollarized. Yes, kind of. There's more trade happening in non-dollar denominated currencies. So you're getting oil deals done in renminbi or Chinese renminbi or stuff like that,
Chinese yuan.
or whatever, or Russian ruble or whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, that Chinese yuan is still pegged to the US dollar. Now, is de-dollarization happening? It's a process that will take many years.
Yeah.
But what is the alternative? So, okay, cool. We all decided we don't want to be part of the US dollar. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to China? You think China's a better option than the United States? Look, maybe the US isn't perfect, but let me tell you, China's not much of a better option. I don't think you want to be in the South African currency. It hasn't got a great track record. You certainly don't want to be in the Turkish lira.
Let me stop it right there. Now, one of the things that's helping us is the fact that China and these other countries that have formed the BRICS coalition, right? Hey, what's up, Shy Talk? What's going on, man? What's happening, man? Thank you for coming through, bro. Thank you for coming through. What's going on, man? What you saying? I'm charting ATM, so I would be in and out. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a great topic because we need to be on top of this. We really need to be on top of this. The financial situation is crazy right now. We're worrying about Sleepy Joe and Dumb Donald. It's amazing. But look at what's going on in China right now. Okay, let's say that they de-dollarize everything right now. Boom, everything's de-dollarized right now. And China's currency becomes the global trading currency. Boom, you got that right. Do you know how much of control freaks China is? Do you not realize China already has a lot of the world's data? Right? China was the first country that went digital with their currency during the Olympics. So everyone who likes to travel know that when you travel to another country, you cannot use US dollars all the time in foreign countries, right? Right. So what do? You switch and convert to their currency. So what did you do when you went to China during the Olympics? Well, because China had already switched and they were preemptive. This is why I tell you guys to be preemptive. They were preemptive. So what they did was they knew about the digital currency strategy. They switched the Chinese yen over to a CBDC, right? And they made it so where if you went to China for the Olympics, you had to use their currency during the Olympics. Now, what is a CBDC? A CBDC is a programmable currency, right? Now, if the government wants to use a CBDC, what they'll do is they can lock up your currency, they can lock up your bank account at will whenever they want to. But it's also programmable because it has your data. If they don't want you shopping at a certain store, they can make it to where you can't shop at a certain store. But they have to have your data. This is the point I'm trying to make here. China already did this during the Olympics. So all of the millions of people that went to China for the Olympics unwillingly gave away their data to this country that is now trying to take over the world and use their country as the global trading currency. Do you see where I'm going with this? Thank you. And alongside of them is Russia. Just let that sink in. I don't know why Brazil has a dog in the fight, but they do. And then India. India has some of the best and smartest people in the world and one of the best labor forces in the world. My company works there. My company has people who work there too. So everybody needs India. If you don't get that, you need to understand that. India is a very powerful country, even though it doesn't look like it. It is. Yes, it is. Very, very powerful country. No, it might not be like Tokyo or Japan with super technology and all this stuff, but the way that they are, just they're very important. They're very intelligent and they're hardworking people. Just like people try to put this on the Hispanics here, and so well, all the Mexicans they work hard. Yeah, but I'm saying you don't understand India. I understand India because I know. Now we have several other countries that are tired of being penalized by the United States that are willing to say, fuck the US. I keep saying to you guys, look up Project Sandman. You're not listening. Go look up Project Sandman. Project Sandman is basically a bunch of countries who plan on dumping the US dollar all at one time. And if they dump the US dollar all at one time, we are going to be in trouble. Go look up Project Sandman. And if we don't have this debacle situated with the president and whatever they got going on, I don't really know what they got going on, but if we don't have this situated so these people can get this money fixed, we going to be in trouble. We ain't going to be no better than India or Venezuela or any of the other so-called third world countries out here in the world. What we really doing out here. And a lot of people are still focused on chasing women and shit. Man, like, what are you really trying to do with your life out here? Is the point. What you need to understand, what you need to be trying to do is figure out how to get the money together. And you also need to be following my Facebook page. Gracias, mi cielo. Follow my Facebook page. Right now, we can't go live on Facebook for some reason. They want you to have 100 followers. They're bougie right now, so you know. But you can still go over there and follow us. Help us get our weight up so we can go back live over there. Thank you. But let's get back to the video. And then I'm gonna also play a video that's gonna talk about what they can do to prevent the dollar from going through this. You're not gonna like it.
So where you want to be in the Russian currency? So the problem is that the dollar right now is the best of a bad bunch. And in order for de-dollarization to happen, what you need for there to be a better option. Because otherwise, as capitalists, people will hold on to their money and say, even though this is bad, that option over there is a little bit worse.
It's still government counterparty risk.
Yeah. Now look, we've taken the orange pill. So for us, we see Bitcoin and we look at Bitcoin and say, look, you need to have a certain percentage of a portfolio in a neutral money that's not linked to any country, that's linked to an algorithm and a mathematical formula. But other than that, and again, I put the question to you guys and say, if there is de-dollarization and you guys are forced to de-dollarize, where are you going to put your money?
Let me stop it right there. Where you gonna put your money? Exactly. Where you gonna put the money? Where's the money gonna go, man? Y'all think this is a game? This ain't no game out here, man. This is dead. This is serious. This ain't no game. Did you know? Okay, for all of my people who like to travel to Brazil, if you're watching this, right? Did you know you can't spend US dollars in Brazil right now? Hmm? Fact check it. Because of BRICS, the B in BRICS is Brazil, right? No Brazilian citizen can spend US dollars in Brazil right now. Facts. For all of you guys that like to travel to Brazil, right? You cannot They're de-dollarized. You have to use the Brazilian real, right? So you got to go there with the money. I mean, you got to look it up. You know what I'm saying? 2025, all the money's going to be digital. But also in 2025, for all the people that like to travel to Brazil, you got to have at least $2,000 in your bank account to get in the country. You need a visa, and for you to get the visa, you got to have $2,000 in your bank account. Got to have $2,000 in your bank account. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see how many people continue going to Brazil. You have to show them your bank account. Why do you want them in your business like that? This is the question you want to ask. Why do I need you looking at my finances like that? You have to show them your bank. You got to show them. Here's what I got for me to enter your country. Look at my bank. Boom. There you go. What other country asks you to do that? You know what I'm saying? It's horrible. Yes. Yeah. Look it up, Shot Talk. Look it up. You got to look it up. In 2025, you're gonna need a specialized visa to get into Brazil, and one of the requirements for you to get $1,000 in your bank account, or you can't get the visa. Do I think it's gonna last? Hell no, because the tourism is gonna drop dramatically. Gonna fall out of the sky like a airplane. Because people are gonna have problems with that because it's pretty much like a privacy violation. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. I mean, just like this guy says, well, where are you gonna put your money? Crypto, crypto, a neutral place based off mathematical algorithms. And y'all ain't learned about crypto yet? Didn't I just show y'all that the government is buying all the crypto and they're letting the banks crash right now? They're literally letting the banks crash right now. Let me play this video. I got this. This is what they want us to do right here. Hold on. Let me find it. Because I saved just for this situation right here. I wanted to play it during my live stream because it's a horrible fact that you can't even retire in peace after working for so long in this country, right? But it's the truth. Yeah. Let me play this video. Give me 1 second. Thank you for your patience. Yes, Bitcoin. Some form of crypto. That's exactly right. Here we go.
He's 68 years old and working just to pay my taxes. My property taxes were $895 a year. Now, my property taxes are approaching $8,000 a year over the last couple of years. And so we're paying $700 a month rent to the state to live in our own house. Problem is that I'm 68 years old and there needs to be a moratorium on what we have to pay. I worked the entire winter up on that mountain for $6,500 just to pay my property taxes because I'm stubborn enough I don't want to dig into my bank account to pay them. It's like, well, you want me to work? Well, I'll work. And I'm 68 years old and I'll work all summer. And most of my time is just to pay my property taxes to live in the house that I bought in 1995 where my children are raised. They want to get married there, and I plan on being there until the very end. We just can't take this anymore. This was a great place, and it still is, but the people that made it great can't afford to live here anymore, and our kids can't come here.
Sad. Sad. I saw that video while I was eating my breakfast this morning, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is horrible. That is horrible. The man paid his house off in 1995, and now he's paying rent to the state just to live there. And this is what we have to look forward to living in America. Meanwhile, we have immigrants coming across the border, filing for asylum, being given asylum, $1,200 a month, right? Free driver license, everything. But the people who broke their backs to make this country man, don't get me started on that. We can't even share what we want with our own kids because of the country. Let me get back to this video. It's sad, man. It's sad. It really is.
But when
And the
you,
answer is you're going to rather be in US dollars.
yeah, when you go back, and I agree, by the way, and I think that we are definitely in the process of de-dollarization. That's without question. And the dollar is absolutely losing its reserve currency status. But that doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over years. That happens over decades. And if you go back to the last world reserve currency, the British pound, that started losing its dominance in the 1920s. When they came in 1944 in Bretton Woods, that was just kind of the icing on the cake, right? And so what you see is you never have a global reserve currency that is implemented by decree, that you have a king or a Putin or whatever come in and say, from now on, we are using this BRICS new currency. What happens, it's always bottoms up. So those entities within that economic system say, hey, we want to do more business with the United States, going back to the 1920s, right? Because the US is growing and growing and growing. We have more business, we have more customers there. So we want to hold more dollars on our balance sheet. And as the US economy grows as a percentage of global GDP, so does the use of the dollar. And that's how it happens. So the BRICS or Chinese yuan or whatever, yes, over the long run, it will overtake the dollar, but it'll only do so as that economy overtakes the United States economy as far as a percentage of global GDP.
So I saw a chart of GDP of the G7 versus GDP of BRICS. And if you look at the GDP of the G7, it's a chart that goes like this. And if you look at the GDP of BRICS, it's a chart that's going like this.
Yeah, but,
So-
well, the trend is there, but still, as a percentage,
Yeah.
it still heavily favors the G7.
So I don't know if you've got that chart. It was a tweet by Gabor Gurbax, I think is his name, and he shows the chart that does that and that. And I mean, the trend you can see of when you look at it in isolation, it's nothing. But if you look at it over a long period, it's actually quite a scary chart because BRICS is going up and the G7 is going down, and the two crossed a long time ago, kind of like that. I also saw some stats that showed the GDP of China relative to the GDP of the US forecast for 10 years from now. And let me tell you, it's scary because the rate of acceleration in China versus the decline in it versus the US it's a very, there we go. So that's the line that I was talking about. The red line is the BRICS countries, the blue line is the G7. And that's GDP. And that's going from 1995 to 2025. Now, the lines have crossed. Okay, you were talking about people wanting to hold the currency of the economy that was growing in
I'm
GDP.
trying to add on my glasses.
There's your number. There's your chart. There's your chart. You've got the BRICS countries growing in GDP.
Yeah.
You've got the G7 going down. The biggest economy in the G7 is the US.
Yeah, so the only other equation is that dollar-denominated debt, which is future demand for dollars, and how rapidly, or looking at another chart of global debt denominated in dollars outside of the United States, as you start to see that decline from, let's say, 70% down to 65, you're seeing the dollar lose reserve status in real.
Start making preparations now. This is all I'm saying. Start making preparations now. Be preemptive. Be preemptive. Do not wait until the dollar completely loses its status. Right now, you still got hope. We got a long way away from this happening. Another 10 years probably, right? But you know that this is coming down the pike. So why aren't you doing anything about it? And salute to the contractor. What's going on, pimping? Thank you for coming through, man. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. I was just talking about you and your stories on your channel, man. You're doing a great job over there, man. Keep up the good work. Just want you to know that. And I'm not just shooting the shit with you. I'm just telling you the truth. I love listening to those stories. So keep it up. Keep up, man. Keep going. You've got time, people. This is all I'm saying. You've got time. You can see whether you've seen the lines cross a long time ago, right? They crossed already. So the de-dollaration is happening right now. It's happening right now. Do not be a fool to sit around and think something's going to magically keep it from, it's going to magically stop. It's not, right? Time to learn about crypto and other things, right? And why shouldn't you do what's best for you and your family's financial future? You cannot trust the government. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist here, but I'm just the type of person who comes from a humble family, right? My mama used to pick cotton. So I know how I've heard the stories of struggle. I know what it's like to struggle. So why do we want to go back to that? It's the point. I just played you a video of this guy that basically is on Social Security, and the man is retired and still has to work just to pay the property tax on the property that he owns outright. Why do you? I mean, does that make you still want to stay in the United States, knowing that when you retire, you're still going to have to work? Kevin Samuels used to say, when you retire, you have to have at least $5 million saved up. It's probably more than that. Are you headed in that direction right now? If the answer is no, guess what? You're going to have to work till you die. Till you die. There are no magical investments that's going to come along and change that for you. There are no stock options that's going to change that for you. What are you looking like at the time of retirement? 65. What are you looking like? You see what I'm saying? That 401k ain't gonna save you. You're gonna this is serious, people. You're gonna need some money. And if you're a party person, you've been partying every weekend, you've been blowing it on this and that, this and that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I can't talk either, right? But I'm just saying this is the reality of the situation of what's going on in the United States. And they're grinding the gears. And they're gonna grind yours. Either you're gonna pay taxes and have to work till you die, or you can get the fuck out of here. And I suggest the latter. Let's get back to the video.
Real time. But what the mistake people make here is when they look at this equation and probabilities, is they only focus on dollars being on the asset side of the balance sheet, and they forget that dollar liability is on that other side, and that creates future demand for those dollars. And if the banking system contracts, if we have a global slowdown and economic depression, those dollars are going to be harder to come by. Now, people say that, oh my gosh, the Fed's going to print money and we're going to do all this money printing. That's fine, but how do those dollars get outside the United States? You see, the way they get outside the United States is through the trade deficit. Well, that's fine. That's 1.2 trillion per year, but you're looking at a global economy that needs $100 trillion, or that has $100 trillion in it. So that's just a drop in the bucket. So it's go ahead.
Just try and look for. I'm just trying to think. There's another chart we could actually show you. What percentage of countries are holding US dollars as part of their global reserve or something like that? And what you'll see is that over time it has declined.
Yeah, but that's central banks.
Central banks.
Yeah, I agree, but I think you really got to look at the private sector there, and then to do that, that's why I like looking at that debt, because it includes the debt on the balance sheet of the private sector.
So I think what we can agree on is that de-dollarization should happen.
Yeah, and it is happening.
And it is
Absolutely
happening. The problem is that there's no viable alternative currency right now that could displace the dollar. So if you, as I say, in order for de-dollarization to happen, you've got to have a viable alternative. You're basing it on trade. Right now, there is no BRICS currency. And if there was one united BRICS currency, maybe we'd see a different story.
Yeah, and you've got to have something that interrupts the network. I mean, I know you're a crypto guy, so you know how important networks are.
Well, that's...
And there's never been a more powerful network than the dollar.
Correct.
Never, ever. When you include the Eurodollar system and the global banks that are on dollars. So how do you penetrate that? That's
I just
very
pulled up
difficult.
the growth level of BRICS versus GDP may be ahead, but size-wise, it's not yet. Population-wise, BRICS is obviously...
Yeah, that's
BRICS is
what
much.
I was saying. I just couldn't see the chart.
That's why I wanted to find it. BRICS is size of population. It's not even close.
No.
But in regards to GDP, the G7 still has BRICS speed.
But growth is exponential.
Growth is exponential. You can't. By the way, the one that is going to drive it, even, and they're not going to slow. I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. I think India is going to continue to do what they're doing.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one,
hey guys, this is the Valuetainment channel. Make sure you go over there and you subscribe to them. They do good work over there. All right. Make sure you subscribe to my Twitter page. Subscribe to the podcast on the Twitter, right? It is really, really, really important that you do so, because we're live right now on Twitter. And if you are following me on Twitter, you know how important it is to have multiple followers on Twitter, right? Now, I'm going to video. We're going to do this. Do in order to keep this money from basically bottoming out. You cannot rely on 401ks. You cannot rely on any of these things. All right, let me share this with you guys. And once we start watching this video, you'll understand what happened with the US dollar and why it's doing so bad and why we need to go back to this standard. This is the Rich Dad Poor Dad channel. Make sure you go over there and give them a sub, man, because they drop a lot of good information over there. I'm in tune with what they're talking about, because if you know Mr. Kiyosaki always tells you need to invest in precious metals. Gold, silver, things like that, they are not affected by inflation. As a matter of fact, it goes up. So not only is crypto a good way to, let's say, divert your money from being basically deemed worthless, gold and silver is too. And we're going to learn why. You need to pay attention to this, because the dollar used to be based off the gold standard. And the whole thing about the BRICS currencies, the BRIC currency is based off of the gold standard. And if you know, then you know. You'll also know that a lot of these central banks around the world, especially China and other places, are buying up gold like it's nobody's business. Why are they doing that? They're preparing. They're going to back their money with gold. The United States, the money from the United States is backed off consumerism. It's backed off of you. When everyone else is going to have currency backed off of gold. Don't believe me? Just watch. Let's check this out.
For watching, as we always say, there's nothing more important than your financial education, especially at this time in this place in history. And with the world changing so rapidly, all in almost every country, we really want to bring you the best experts, the people that know what's going on economically, financially, globally, so that you can best position yourself for what's coming down the road. So that's exactly what we've got today. We have a very, very special guest, Mr. Peter Schiff, economist. I'll tell you one thing about Peter. You will know exactly where Peter stands, because he does not hold back. He will tell it exactly as he sees it. And he has a huge big picture, historically as well as currently. So this is going to be a fantastic, very, very jam-packed show. Lots and lots of information. It's one you're going to want to watch more than once, because I can tell you, Peter and Robert are going to have a fabulous discussion. I'm going to be sitting here more just listening and learning. So with that, Robert, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I'm glad Peter was on the show, because Peter's been a friend for years and years and years. But the reason this is an important show is because the world changed on August 15th, 1971. So when I look at the world and say, why is it screwed up? Why is there such a gap between the rich and the poor? Why is real estate in a bubble? You can trace much of it back to 50 years ago, August 15th, 1971. And in January of 1972, I was on an aircraft carrier in the South China Sea because I missed the announcement that what Nixon did in August 15th. And it changed my life, because I'm on this aircraft carrier as a Marine pilot, and I get this letter from Rich Dad via snail mail saying that, hey, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. Well, it took me 6 months to get that letter. But anyway, with that, I didn't know what it meant. Back in 1971, for those who may not know it, it was illegal for Americans to own gold, because in 1933, FDR took the dollar off the gold standard. He also caused Social Security. FDR really screwed this economy up way back then. So I couldn't own gold. We didn't know what gold was. And that really changed my life. So when I look at what is going on in the economy today, I mean, let me ask this question. How in the world can the CEO of a company borrow money just to jack the price of their stocks up?
Let me stop it right there. If you're paying attention, 1971, Richard Nixon took the US dollar off of the gold standard and put it on the consumerism standard. Country by doing this. Yeah, are you with me so far? It started then and it has spiraled ever since. This is why everything costs so much, real estate costs so much, clothes cost so much, everything costs so much. Because we have to pay for everything. This is why everything is based off consumerism in the United States, because the US dollar is based off consumerism. That's why we have the global trading currency. That's why we have the most powerful money in the world. And we're losing it. We're losing it. Let's get back to this video.
That's criminal. And why are real estate prices so high? So the reason we invited Peter today is because Peter, as Kim says, is one of the most outspoken. He does not give a shit what you think of him. He will tell you. He hates Bitcoin. he will not stop. So I'm going to back off right now because Peter is the CEO of Euro Pacific Capital and Gold, and I invest with Peter for full disclosure because some of his guys on his team at Euro Pacific Capital and Shift Gold and all the companies he has, they are professionals in the world of gold, which President Nixon took off the gold standard 50 years ago. So it's a very important show. And if you want to know why the rich are getting richer, the poor middle class are getting poorer, our money is fake. That's what's wrong. And anybody saving dollars is a loser right now, and because they keep printing it. So with that, Peter, give us your opinion of August 15th, 1971. What happened on that day?
So on August 15th, 1971, that is when Nixon closed the gold window. Of course, when he closed it, he said it was just temporary, but it's been 50 years and it hasn't reopened. But what you spoke about FDR in 1933 is true, because that's the year when the government made it illegal for Americans to own monetary gold. So American citizens could not take their Federal Reserve notes back to the Federal Reserve and get real dollars, which were made of gold. All they could do was negotiate, circulate the Federal Reserve notes. But if you were not American, if you lived outside the United States, you were still able to take your Federal Reserve notes to the Federal Reserve and actually get paid the gold that the notes promised to pay. And so that continued up until 1971. And basically what was happening in the late 1960s, early 1970s, was we started to run very big deficits in the 1960s to pay for the war in Vietnam, to pay to go to the moon, to pay for the war on poverty, and all sorts of government programs. They called it guns and butter, and we had both, yet we didn't pay for either. And so we ran these big deficits, and the Federal Reserve was then monetizing the deficits. Now we call it QE. They hadn't, thought of that word back then, but that's what they were doing. So the Fed was doing QE to monetize all this government spending. We didn't have the gold, and our foreign creditors were suspicious that we didn't have enough gold to meet our obligations. So they started to show up at the gold window with their Federal Reserve notes asking for the gold. Well, we didn't have enough. And so we ended up defaulting on our obligations, because really Federal Reserve notes were promises to pay gold, and we defaulted on that promise. And so anybody who says the U.S. government has never defaulted on an obligation, That's not true. That was a massive default in 1971. And, we've been on this fiat-based monetary system ever since. And I think this system is now on the verge of an implosion. And I think we're going to see this, relatively soon, where the dollar now collapses and the world returns to the gold standard just without the dollar. Because when the world was on a dollar standard after Bretton Woods, it was because the dollar was not only backed by gold, but redeemable on demand into gold. And after we defaulted, the dollar, lost a lot of value in the 1970s, about 2/3 of its value relative to the Deutschmark, the yen, the Swiss franc. But it continued to serve as the reserve, and it's a reserve currency to this day. I think that status is what's in jeopardy.
And stop it right there. Guns and butter, baby. Guns and butter, baby. Ain't that what they said in the movie? Guns and butter, baby. Yeah, that's where it came from. You might want to check on your money. Get your money out of these banks if you got a whole lot in there. What I mean, I'm not an expert, right? But let's just say, I'm doing a lot of research. You can pretty much see what's going on out here. They do things behind the scenes that we have no knowledge about. They don't plan on telling us. And right now we're in the middle of the greatest and largest financial conversion in history that's going to take place in 2025. No one knows about it. 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 Salute Detroit 313. What's going on, man? What up, though? You know what I'm saying? What up, though? That's in Detroit slang right there. What up, though? I got a few partners from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? What up, though? Yeah. You need to find out what's going on with your money, man. Find out what's going on with your money. Quit worrying about Biden. It's a smokescreen. Quit worrying about Trump. It's a smokescreen. This is what they're not talking about on TV. You don't hear none of this on CNN, MSNBC, the Huffington Post, none of these big name news networks. None of them are talking about this. None of them. They're not talking about this. And they will not talk about this. You got to deep dive up into YouTube to find these things. And once you start to find them, you will see what's really going on with your money, and you can start making preparations to get up out of there. You want to be preemptive, not reactive. Always be preemptive, not reactive. Because when we're reactive to things, our emotions take control, and we especially as a man, you cannot be reactive. You cannot be an emotional being. We're not feminine, right? You have to be smart and you have to think. You got to use your nugget. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm just saying you got to think. You have to think because we tend to panic when we're reacting to things. When you're reacting to things, you don't think straight. You want to think straight. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, contract. I appreciate that a whole lot. Man, I didn't know that the Quiet Storm was in Africa. He's all over this place. The International is his name for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when you're reactive, you do not think straight. You're emotional and you're panicking. But when you are being preemptive, somebody might call you paranoid. Like this might sound paranoid to a lot of people. Who gives a fuck? You understand what I'm saying? Who cares? You should care about your financial future and what's going on with your money and what they're doing with it and what they're not telling you about it. Just like I showed you where all the crypto is being bought is the United States. And it's just not being bought by people like you and me, right? They're buying all the crypto right now. They're buying it. in preparation for something. So I suggest you learn about crypto. Shy talking to you. He knows. He knows about the crypto. He knows. Learn about crypto. Go learn about the crypto. Quit thinking it's a scam. It is not. Find out about crypto and what it can do for you. I dropped the link for CoinGecko in the chat, right? Let me. I'm gonna drop this in there again. And I pinned the fiat link in the chat too. But once again, here's the link to CoinGecko. CoinGecko will show you the top cryptos in the world right now. Save that link, put that link somewhere, and go and look. And you can do all your research on it. Go find that white paper for the crypto and do your research on it. Look it up. All right. You want to know what's going on with your money. They are, thank you. This is why they're buying up all the crypto. They're trying to price us out the crypto markets. That's why they're buying it all. Some of this crypto out here is 50 cents, man. And once they get it and they make their ETFs and their everything else, you'll have to go through them to get it. Right now, you have the ability to do it yourself. You got crypto out here, some of these important cryptos that are 5 cents. 5 cents, man. A fucking nickel, man. A nickel. Know what I'm saying? It's a nickel that's going to end up turning from a nickel into $1,000. What a hell of an investment. And you're still worrying about bitches. You're worrying about how to smash a woman in another country. Man, look, man. If you ain't got no money, how you going to smash a chick in another country? Hello? Let's get back to it.
How old were you when that? Were you even born yet?
Yes, I was born in 1963, so I was 8.
So I don't think you were watching Bonanza, were you, when Nixon made the announcement?
No, I think I saw Bonanza in reruns.
Okay, so this is my question then. This is a commercial plug for Peter Schiff, because, and full disclosure, I do invest with him, because your guys are very knowledgeable on gold. So what does Schiff Gold do? What do you guys do? I mean, and if you're only a kid, why are you so adamant about gold? I mean, something got into you.
Well, gold is real money. And, my father taught me about gold a long time ago. In fact, before we went off the gold standard, my father was one of the few people who actually testified in front of the Senate Committee on Money and Banking against going off the gold standard. And my father was the only one that said that if we went off the gold standard, the price of gold would go up and that the value of the dollar would go down and that we'd have lots of inflation. All of the other government witnesses, including the then Secretary of the Treasury and the then head of the Federal Reserve, they all said that if we went off the gold standard, the price of gold, which was about $35 an ounce at the time, they said the price of gold would fall. They thought the dollar was supporting gold instead of the other way around. So they were talking about how great the economy was going to be if we can only remove the shackles of the gold standard. And my father was the only one who testified and got it right, because he laid out exactly what was going to happen in the 1970s. And it happened exactly the way he said, and the exact opposite of what the Secretary of the Treasury and the Federal Reserve said. And you know what? The Secretary of the Treasury and the Federal Reserve head are just as incompetent now, maybe even more so than they were back then. They have no idea the damage that they have unleashed from their policies, especially the mistakes that they've made since COVID. I mean, the Federal Reserve has done everything wrong since COVID. And despite the fact that everybody is praising them for what they did, remember, everybody praised them for all the bailouts and all the stimulus following 2008. And they praised them when they bailed everything out after the dot-com bubble popped. But all those were policy mistakes. What the Federal Reserve should have done following the outbreak of COVID was withdraw money from circulation, allow interest rates to go up. Because the problem with COVID, and I said this at the time, was a supply problem. People were leaving their jobs. Companies were shutting down. People were staying home. They weren't working. They weren't producing goods. They weren't providing services. So we had a lot less stuff to buy. What the Federal Reserve needed to do was reduce the money supply so that money supply went down with goods supply. Instead, they did the opposite. They flooded the economy with money. They printed all this money and sent it out to everybody. So what happened? We increased demand while we were decreasing supply. That's why you're seeing this huge increase in consumer prices right now.
Peter, I can't believe this. I mean, you're such an economist right now. I just gave you it. I know Peter is a really, really dear friend. We go to the. I met him on the real estate guys cruise, and they put us on stage, and we have a yelling match with each other. But the trouble is, we both agree. We're still yelling at each other.
Have you heard about the expanding influence of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and its potential to severely impact the US dollar by possibly creating a new world currency? Even JP Morgan said, and I'm paraphrasing, the impact of BRICS would most likely be felt here in the US, where moving away from the dollar would cause our financial assets like our IRAs and 401ks to lose value. We agree with JP Morgan and many others. Now's the time to position yourself for stability, security, and wealth protection. So take it from Robert and me, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting, we believe that gold should be a part of everyone's portfolio. Seize the opportunity to ensure your financial future with gold and do it with one of the best in the industry, Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold has done things right from the beginning, having earned 5 stars with TrustLink and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Allegiance Gold can help protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver, or you can have it delivered securely to your doorstep. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying investment when you visit protectwithrobert.com today. Or you can call 844-3-ROBERT. That's 844-3-ROBERT. Robert sounded the alarm in 2023, and his warnings came true. Unfortunately for many, it was a year of lost wealth, but it was the complete opposite for the billionaire class. Now the wealthiest 10% of Americans own over 92% of all U.S. stocks. But here's the good news. You can invest just as these billionaires did. Robert has said, if you want to be rich, do what the rich do. So you can diversify across the asset classes with what are called low correlation alternative assets. For example, fine art as a tangible asset that rarely ever changes hands, the fine art market is more resistant to traditional volatility.
Boom.
So the fine art component of these billionaires' portfolios are at less risk. And now you can add the same blue chip art to your portfolio from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to be an art expert to do so. Masterworks, our longtime sponsor, has an art investing platform with over 880,000 people on board and nearly $1 billion in assets under management. From their successful art sales, they have consistently delivered a profit to their investors, and you can even go check their numbers. Our viewers can skip Masterworks waitlist by using the link in the description below. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Keel.
We're going to stop it right there. You guys better figure it out. People are preparing. Why aren't you? This is the big question. People are preparing. You need to be preparing for what's coming. You want to be rich? Do what the rich do. You want to protect your money? Do what the rich do. I mean, hello. Sometimes common sense ain't that common, but we don't have to be one of the few that don't learn. And right now, we're in the middle of the greatest wealth conversion that it is right now. And like Shy Talk is saying, hey, look, BNB, XRP, Doge, Chainlink, there are some of the good blue chips to learn about and hold for this bull run cycle because it's coming. It's coming. But do your research. I've dropped that link to the CoinGecko app in its website in the chat. You don't have to create an account. All you got to do is just click on it and open it up and go. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. And you'll see the top cryptos, but you can also just learn. You need to learn what the crypto does. Don't just be buying stuff because Elon said buy it. You know what I'm saying? Do your research. Like Shad just said, do your research. You need to learn. You can't just be asking people, what crypto do I need to buy? You need to go do your research. I talked to some of my friends about this. My friends ask me about it all the time, but I can give them a suggestion, but I also tell them, look, this is what you need to do. You need to research it. It's not so much as me saying, oh, yeah, go watch this movie. This is a great movie. I think you'll enjoy it. That's not how crypto works. Crypto only works if it makes sense to you. So once it clicks in your brain, it's gotta like that. And if it don't like that, you're wasting your time putting your money behind it. And like I showed you guys earlier, using the CoinGecko app, you can go through and just click on a crypto and just read about it and learn about it. I don't invest in cryptos that don't have utility. If it don't have a utility, if it don't have a use, I don't need it. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not an expert. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. We've been on here about an hour and a half. I want to thank everybody for coming through here. Please make sure you are subscribed. If you're not, please hit that subscribe button. Please make sure you are hitting that like button. Hitting that like button invites more people to come check out the video. And I think this is an important video for a lot of people to do their research on. They need to come check this out so they can know of certain alternatives that we have in the world other than just a bank, because the banks are crashing and these banks ain't gonna be your future. They're not. There you go. Tell them hold like the commercial. Hold. You know what I'm saying? Hold. Hold. Buy it and hold. People are looking for the quick flip. This is not the drug game. This ain't the streets. This is something totally different. You want to buy it and hold it and make these people buy it back from you. That's neither here or there, though. You got to learn. You got to crawl before you walk. Thank you, Chi-Town. Thank you for the educational piece. You know what I'm saying? Share this video with your people. I'm going to share it on my Facebook page because I can't go live, but it's live on Twitter, and we're live on Twitch, and we're live on YouTube. Oh, my head is itching right now. Please make sure you hit that like button, and we're out. Salute to everybody. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.